Kickstarter Pickstarter is happening now. Some pretty good ones. I liked this one. The first one I'm going to talk to you about, it's called Vengeance. And it actually comes from the designer of a game that you backed.
Yeah, and we've played, and we talked about it on the show, Post-Human.
Which we had some gripes with, but
But
overall,
we felt like it also was only one playthrough. We need to give it some more.
Of course, yes.
You know.
We haven't given it a totally fair shake yet. This is not set in the post-apocalyptic universe. It's called Vengeance because it's based on revenge movies, a lot like Kill Bill, those kinds of things. Very Tarantino-esque vibe.
So a lot of things about feet.
A lot of things about feet, toes, yeah, all throughout the game. Now, you are taking a certain character, and there are different gangs, and you have been wronged in some way, and you have
Did they eat your sandwich?
It could be. That could be one of them. And you have to get your revenge. Basically, there's a board of different locations, and you're scouting them out to find the gang bosses that specifically wronged you. And then you go into these battle sections. And that's what's really cool, I think. The way they work is you're rolling a set of dice, and they each have symbols that, and it could be, movement, or hit a guy, or shoot a guy, and then I think there's one other one I forget, but those are the basic ones. And then once you have your dice, you can order them in any way that you want. And it's a turn-based combat. But the reason the order might also be important is because you'll get combos along the way, where, for instance, if you get a knife and a gun together, that could be as extra power, like you're throwing a knife or something like that. So it almost has a fighting game kind of combo feel to it, and also the whole dice pool rolling thing we've seen lately that we've liked in games like Ashes. I guess Dice Masters to an extent, but I feel like I'm trying to think of
the one that we played it from from Bazier Games.
Oh, right. Colony?
Yeah.
Is that what we're thinking of? Yes.
And also, in an extent, their other one.
Yeah, Favor of the Pharaoh. And it looks like the theme is really cool. It looks like they did a really good job getting that across. It is a competitive game. You're just trying to see who can get the most revenge, basically, the most points by killing the guys you need to kill. But there's also this cool thing with card drafting to determine what they actually did to you. So it might be like, oh, this guy broke your arm, and because of that, you have a certain injury, and if you take him down, you get more points because he's the guy who did it to you. It sounds really cool. And that guy put out a cool game before, so you can check this one out. It does go for $90, but because it has a ton of miniatures and stuff, it's a big game. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, check it out.
All right.
Vengeance. And I don't know what this one is, but you've got it.
So this is actually a reprint, I guess you could say, a second edition of Siege of the Citadel. It's part of a line, actually, Mutant Chronicles is this RPG line. It stopped sometime, but in 2014 it was brought back up again. So the original creator of the first Siege of the Citadel board game, which actually had this 3D staircase in the center, and was actually one of the first games to actually use the sort of 1v all, save your campaign, and the next game has something that matters.
Okay.
And so this is they're bringing back. They actually got the original creator on board, as well as Eric Lang.
Okay.
Which we brought up earlier, had hot dogs.
We know he loves hot dogs, so
I think that this is what the hot dog.
What else do you need?
But what's really cool about this is, first of all, to bringing back old game. I always think that's great, especially if you're into it. Different RPG style. It still feels like it has that, because judging by the artwork and stuff, the old like that. That I want to say 80s sci-fi almost, or
okay.
It's that gritty.
Yeah,
the art. You can think of the art style I'm talking about.
Aliens. Maybe,
right.
That kind of, or what's the one with Total Recall,
right.
Like that kind of stuff.
And so I thought that was also really cool, and bringing back an old game. And what it seems to also have is actually the dark player, or your the 1v all, the one rotates.
Huh.
So
Okay.
It sounds like you're almost changing the plays, and as you know, that's actually one of my big gripes with the 1v all method.
Yeah.
Campaign is the locks you in.
Sometimes you get tired of being that guy.
Right.
This gives you a chance to switch that up. I like that a lot.
So and miniature game. So definitely, I think something really awesome to check out if the 1v all thing is your style, and good to see some old games getting some love again.
Yeah, this one's a little bit cheaper. It goes for $69. Siege of the Citadel. I mean, Mutant Chronicles. I don't know if that's official.
Well, Mutant
part of that series.
Yeah, Mutant Chronicles is the RPG series that I think
Okay.
it was made from. Sort of like
It's like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Castle Ravenloft.
Exactly,
Or whatever.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
And I know that there is an expansion, I think, with this too. I just want to mention because I really like what they actually did. Apparently, if you took the base and the expansion next to it, it's one continuous piece of artwork.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Small thing, but I like that.
We like that. So check that one out. Final one, based on another RPG, Dungeons and Dragons. This is a project called Theater of the Mind, and its purpose is to bring Dungeons and Dragons specifically to people with low vision or blindness. And it's a few different components, sort of accessories, I guess, to that end. The biggest one, the coolest one, I think, is it's a slate that is basically a player sheet for the blind that has an actual mechanisms built in, so that it comes with a little stylus that actually lets you kind of write and change your stats as you're playing. So without having to have a piece of paper, with this Braille style board, you could upgrade your level, your experience, your health, things like that more easily. It's also got some other components, Braille dice, tactile miniatures, and playmat. Lots of cool stuff like that. And it's it's a great, I just thought, I'd never really thought of it before, but an RPG you'd think would be pretty easy to adapt, but there's always those little things that are more targeted towards people who are sighted.
And we have to admit here, because we don't actually know anyone who is of legal blindness, we don't have any experience of them of having to adapt for them when we play the game. So we'll probably not think of some things when.
Yeah, as I'm sure a lot of people don't. So I love to see that initiative. It is a long way from its goal right now, although it's set for a long period of time. They still have 50 plus days as of this recording. But one of the things that I noticed about it, unfortunately, was that it's in order to get that slate, for example, you have to back the $250 tier, and there's a lot of tiers underneath it that are more for your name in the books, things like that, basic stuff.
Right, but one of the issues I think to look at here, it sounds like a lot to us. But first off, we had, like you said, because we don't know anyone, we also don't know the pricing of paying for certain things.
That's true.
Like usually we only hear that if there's a outrage. For example, if you recall the, I think it was EpiPens, go $600 and they expire after. So I don't know how much Braille equipment costs or something of similar value. Is this
right.
I mean, is it just something you're gonna have to do right now? Because I haven't even seen. You're the one who's found this one, so I don't know how printed that works. So it's definitely. But I do think whether it's good or bad, the initiative to do this kind of thing. I remember a while ago the issue was just simply dice for those of blind or limited value on Kickstarter. That was really hot because that's probably also cheaper to make. But just allowing people that sort of being able to just know, okay, I did get a crit. Feels good.
Right. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think the dice for this one come in at a lower tier that you can get those also.
But overall, even just get the idea started and rolling for a way to adapt games, whether it's something like blindness, or maybe even just for whatever reason it's harder for you to pick up and roll dice. I mean, there's a myriad of different reasons for that, so I'm not going to go list them all. Or hold cards. Or maybe certain games, particular ones that maybe are real time. It's a little harder to get along. Just the ways to sort of learn to adapt those.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I do feel Dungeons and Dragons, the RPG is really the first step, because that's a place that I think, because RPGs themselves are so moldable, that should be the best place to start.
Yeah, certainly. It's probably the easiest because you don't have to worry about a lot of things that you normally do in a traditional board game. We're all for it. More inclusion. Include everyone.
So check out these Kickstarters. when you get the time.
You can pick starter them yourself.